Happy Friday and welcome to How to Improve Productivity with a Brain Dump. I'm Rochelle Poulton, resident business strategist with KLM Project Management and Marketing, and you can find us online at duplicatemyself.com. Today, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am what I call a recovering attorney. And what that means is I'm a lawyer. I've been practicing law in the state of Arizona for a little over 10 years. I owned a small law firm helping people with consumer rights. So that just meant I was dealing with credit repair, debt settlement, and bankruptcy and litigation related to all three. And I freaking loved it. I was good at what I did. I loved being a lawyer. It's been a huge sense of personal achievement in my life. But after 10 years, I decided it was time to sell my practice and decide what the next chapter of my life would look like. And, on top of, having my JD, I also have 20 years of real estate experience. I worked for a broker in college that did commercial and residential real estate development in New Mexico. And I was a mortgage lender here in Arizona for a couple of years. And then I ran to law school after the market crash and, studied all things real estate, consumer rights, tax, business, all of the sexy stuff. So I really quite enjoyed what I learned in law school and how it helped build my knowledge base of real estate. So I own a couple of residential properties, commercial building. I love real estate, love consulting about it too. I'm also an entrepreneur. I have multiple business interests. So when I decided, hey, like, what am I going to do when I grow up now that my law career it's time to transition into doing something else. I remembered I had hired Kelly Lawrenson with KLM, and she was amazing. I met her through the Tempe Chamber. She was just totally brilliant at what she did. And, she has her PMP and she does a lot of project management. So I had her help me with several projects that I was working at with the law firm. And, I loved her approach. She was very comprehensive solutions, make complicated things simple. These were all kind of principles that I held when I owned my practice. And so naturally, when I was like, I would like to do business consulting, I approached Kelly and KLM and asked to join the team. And here I am a couple years later, and it's been great. Consulting has evolved into business strategy, which I freaking love. So, back when I, was thinking about hiring Kelly, it all started with the brain dump. And the brain dump was just very eye-opening. A brain dump is basically an opportunity to unburden your business brain. Hers at the time, 1 hour private consulting session. And now you can book them with Kelly or myself. And it's just kind of a way for us to get to know you and your business. So during a brain dump, and why it is so useful in increasing productivity is you have so much going on as a business owner all the time, whether you own a business or you're starting a side hustle, you've been in business for years, there's always something else that you learn in business. When I had my practice, every year I would say, it felt like I learned 100% more than I did the year before, which is pretty terrifying after 10 years. You learn so much in business about business and how to do it and what you've done wrong, the mistakes you've made, the things you wish you could have done differently, the things you need to do differently moving forward. All of that information can be a little bit overwhelming. And so if you own a business or a side hustle, that is who really benefits the most from these brain dumps. It's really for people who have too many to-do lists, right? Like if you're like me, that Virgo energy, I've got like tons of to-do lists everywhere. I use sticky notes, I have software, I've got my to-do list in freaking Google, like everywhere. There's a to-do list. There's always something that I need to do, wish I could do, didn't do, should have done, constantly like, oh, there's too many things to do and not enough time in the day to do it, not enough hours, not in the day or in the week or in the month. Um, and so that kind of like, anxiety and stress is really who benefits from these brain dumps, right? Is this ability to like unburden that business brain. And, if you're thinking, I just wish I could duplicate myself, right? Like, if that thought has ever crossed your mind, or you just need to get stuff off your plate and you have no idea where to start, because when you own a small business, sometimes it's resources, right? Like, man, I wish I could delegate this, but I don't have anybody to delegate it to. That's where we come in. That's what the whole purpose of this is. And if you're working 7 days a week, then it's a good opportunity to do a brain dump. Just because if any of these things kind of apply to you and you're thinking, yeah, I'm checking all of these lists, then yes, I think you would benefit from a brain dump. And here's why people book. So people will book a brain dump for all sorts of reasons. Sometimes they'll book just because they have one issue, right? Like, oh, my Google Workspace, I'm using it and I don't really understand how to get all my old emails into, my new Gmail. And it's like, cool, no problem. I can set that up for you, like literally on the call. But if it's something more complicated where it's like, dang, you need, you're still operating at bobsburgers@gmail.com, but you need it to be bob@bobsburgers.com, that's a Google Workspace project. That's super easy. There's something very straightforward about doing that, getting your domain set up, your email set up, having, your assistant have their own email. We get a lot of questions about Google Workspace because it is early on in the process, but it's that thing that, you need to just make you look more polished as a business owner, like lends that credibility and legitimacy instead of just a standard Gmail or Outlook account or whatever like that. So people book for that. People will also book a brain dump because they're a new business and they're like, I have this idea and I don't know what to do with it. And it's like, all right, cool. Tell us about your idea and let's see if we can come up with a way of for you to like do the next steps to, get this off the ground, whether that's help with pricing or help with, identifying your services or putting together a service package or, just looking at, what your online presence is and deciding and helping you decide what needs to be modified about that to attract more of your target audience, or even just a discussion on like, who the heck is my target audience? Like all of those things are really, really helpful for a new business owner. And then, sometimes people will book because they want to increase revenue, like now, right? That's my jam, right? Like I want all of my business owners, clients to make more money and not work as hard because they have a well-running system with a good team who's well compensated, right? Because it's all about, we're all in this together. You need your team. And, but the business owner can actually go on vacation for, a month and enjoy the flexibility of actually being a business owner, right? Like getting to that phase is quite the accomplishment. I really want to help everyone transition from owner operated into owner managed, right? Like that's my jam. So figuring out ways to increase your revenue. I'm happy to look at your profit and loss, tell you what's up. Several of them help you with projections, whatever you need in terms of, the dollars and cents, because that's my jam. I'm all about the numbers and the processes and the systems. People will also come to us for marketing. I have over a decade, coming up on 15 years of marketing experience now. So it's everything, from, your social media profiles to your digital marketing, which, is email, newsletters, blogs, podcasts, launching a book, doing some press releases, booking speaking engagements. Yes, all of that. Like we are a full service marketing agency. So people will come to us with a marketing project, like a tiny little thing that it's a really big deal and a really critical component of their marketing strategy that they need help with, and they just need some guidance to help them, make this little idea, work for them across multiple platforms, right? Because if you have a book, that's just great content. But if you, even if you just have or just need help creating a lead funnel, with the freebie checklist, like that's so huge, so whatever part of marketing, that, people will come to us for that. And sometimes people will book for project management. That's kind of a lot to, project management. Kelly's a PMP. She's not a pimp, but she is amazing. And, I am a business strategist. Like that's what we do is project management. So people come to us for projects like hiring or CRM implementation, so, I can create a spreadsheet for you in Google Docs that you can use all the way to, like building out your your CRM and like Pipe Drive, like whatever you need, whether it's, for a service based or you actually do product, you sell a service or a product, like we can help you with that. So it just depends. Like anybody who wants a brain dump comes to us for a specific thing in mind. Like, oh, hey, I am really struggling with this. I should book a brain dump. It's a 1 hour private consulting session with me or Kelly, and I'm going to get some answers. But what actually ends up happening during our brain dump session is you get this opportunity to unburden your business brain. So we start by getting to know you and your business. Like for me personally, I want to know, like, how long have you been in business? Why did you get into business? What do you do? What does your business do? What do you love about it? What do you wish you could do with it? Where are you headed? Do you have any plans? Like, where are you? Really help me get an assessment of where you're at in your business. Like, are you that, startup where you're you haven't quite made 100K in revenue yet, or are you at a million and you're trying to double and triple and get to that $5 million mark? Like, any phase of your business, I can help you. Whether you're 100,000, 500,000, 1.5 million, like I want to know about your business and where you're at and where you see yourself going. And also, like, I want to know what is stressing you out. Like, do you feel like your hair is on fire? What are you losing sleep over? What are you concerned about the most? Like, what does your day to day look like? Because a lot of people will tell me, oh, I got to I've got my email and then I'm taking calls and then I'm doing proposals and sending out quotes and the follow up and things are falling through the cracks. And, we're almost at capacity, but we need to make more money before we can hire somebody. And it's like, oh, amazing. There's so many opportunities here to help you on this like 1 hour call, to just sort of, figure out where it all comes next, because business is business and it's a big puzzle, and I love putting all of the pieces in place to help make you successful, and so does Kelly. And then that gives us an opportunity to do a deep dive, right? Like you thought you were going to talk about one thing on the call, but by the end of it we've gone down so many rabbit holes. Like you're telling me about the things that really do stress you out, the things that are that you really need help with. And, during this deep dive, we may come across a couple of things that I can actually just troubleshoot for you right there on the call. I'm wicked fast. A lot of people say, I'm a machine, but I'm not. I'm a human too. I just have done some of these things 10,000 times. And so I understand how to make it work for you during the call. It's all about giving you value, right? Like these brain dumps are supposed to be helpful. You're supposed to feel lighter at the end of it, right? Because it's that opportunity to unburden your business brain. So it's like if something is really pressing that I think we can conquer, in a couple of minutes on the call, I'm just going to do it. So that's really what really happens during these brain dumps. And then at the end, we put together a really handy action item list. Like, hey, this is a summary of what we talked about. These are the things that, you feel like need to be tackled. Here's how I think you should prioritize these things. And, In some cases, I may recommend you to do another brain dump in a couple of months or a couple of weeks, like in 6 weeks, maybe we do another brain dump and see how you're going with this list. Or I may say, like, you're a great candidate for our mastermind. We meet twice a month. You can be around other business owners to gather ideas. Or I might send you a proposal for our services for project management or marketing, just to really unburden you and kind of help you get everything you need done. So it really just depends on you as the individual on these calls for what needs to happen. And now you're thinking, okay, well, this sounds amazing. How much is this going to cost? It's only $225. $225 for this 1 hour private consulting session. And I quite enjoy doing them. And so does Kelly. And I'll be sure to put a link to that in the chat in a few minutes or after the call. And also, if you want to just learn more about the brain dumps or want to see if maybe this is a good fit, you can also book a virtual coffee with me as well. And now I kind of want to give you a hypothetical example of what a brain dump looks like for a business. So we're going to pick on a fictional business, and one of my favorite fictional businesses, Bob's Burgers. I don't know if you watch the TV show or not, but I do. I'm freaking addicted to it. And so let's say Bob and Linda Velcher, want to book a brain dump. They are a small family-owned business that is, B2C, business to consumer. They freaking sell burgers. And, some of their big issues, they're coming like, hey, we need to make more money. We are working 7 days a week. We need to get some stuff off our plate, but we don't know where to start. Every day we're stressed out about what we didn't do, what we need to do, what we could do, what we didn't do, what we want to do. And there's just never enough time to do it, with balancing our kids who also work in our restaurant, and taking them to school and after school activities, and us trying to fit in date night and be a family who owns this business. And, we have too many things to do, too many lists. Our financial situation is a bit of a mess. Sometimes, we need to do other jobs, to make more money to sustain us while we, pursue this dream of owning this business, right? Like that typical client, right? So for Bob and Linda, we would talk about all of the stuff about their business, like, tell me why you started Bob's Burgers, right? Well, we all know, or maybe don't, that, his dad owned a restaurant, and Bob had a passion and grew up in the restaurant. So he wanted to open his own, but he had a passion for burgers, and he does a burger of the day, and it gives him a lot of joy to create, a burger of the day. But the big problem with doing a burger of the day is that's, 365 burgers. You got to come up with one every day, year after year. So one of the first things I would do with Bob is like, give me your highlights. How about we create a list of your top 10 favorite burgers of the day, the ones that you've, never created, right? Of you ever created. Let's do that. And let's put those on a menu. And those are your signature Bob's Burger specials, right? And you can still do a burger of the day, but we're going to call it the burger of the week or the burger of the season. So that way you have this specialty burger for the whole month, right? Stuff that you still want to be creative with, but it's still, not the pressure of having to do that all of the time. So now you have a menu, right? And like, they don't do package pricing, right? Everything is individual. So you can buy a burger for like $5.95. You can buy some fries for $2, and you can buy a drink for $1.50. And it's like, well, more people would probably buy the combo if you just sold them the combo. If you give them, people need the option to do that. And so if you sold, the burger of the, the specialty burger package, right? Well, that's a $9 lunch, right? Burgers, fries, drink. Very standard, not too expensive, very consistent with pricing in the area. And, now your average customer sale has gone from $6 to $9. That's 50% increase in revenue, just right there, right? And like, let's look at, you're getting not enough traffic, but you're right in a prime location. Why is that? Oh, you have zero marketing happening. Okay, cool. Well, let's set up your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your social media accounts. Like, Let's go ahead and do that and update that and get you online. Let's take a look at your website. Let's get you in with, some of the local deliveries, right? Like Grubhub and Uber Eats and DoorDash. Like, why are you not taking advantage of these platforms? You have these gourmet burgers that people would pay for and pay more for if they didn't have to like physically go to your location. And let's talk about your hours, right? Like, why are you working 7 days a week? You have 2 days that aren't particularly busy. Let's take a look at your numbers over the next month and decide what 2 days of the week you can be closed. Maybe it's a Monday, Tuesday where you're just not open, or you're only open for lunch and not for dinner. Like, are people really coming in Sunday night for dinner, or are you really more of a brunch spot on the weekends where you can, close early at like 3 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday? Or are those your prime hours because, you do a burger and wine or a burger and a beer? If you have a liquor license, let's take a look and see what you can do with that. So, that would be a typical example of the type of consulting and feedback you would get during a brain dump, like that level of detail, just kind of like, fleshing out a few things. And then at the end, I'm taking notes, like you have our note taker with fireflies. So I'm going to put together a whole task list, right? Like your action item list, and prioritize it for you, the things that you can do. And, take a look at the numbers and, have a plan for when you should hire someone part-time to help you with the restaurant. So, your kids aren't there. You, Bob, or Linda can take the day off and have a kid day while someone else is actually working in the restaurant, either as a cook or as a, waitress or hostess or whatever you need them to be, just to kind of begin that staff, that official staff, to get the burden off the kids so you can actually have someone reliable who's doing it and you have the money to pay them, and, life will get easier. So I love doing this type of work. As you can see, I'm pretty passionate about helping businesses. It's what I love to do. And I just want businesses to be successful, offer something good to the community, and make money doing it. So if you have questions, or you're just like, hey, she seems cool, I want to get to know her better, book a virtual coffee with me. I'll be able to put that in the link once I'm done. And then if you actually want to book a brain dump with me, I will put that in the link as well. It's only $225 and you get an hour, and we're going to cover a lot of ground and see what we can do to help you improve your business. So as you can see, this is why a brain dump will help you improve productivity, right? Like, you're going to organize that chaos and we're going to spit it out and put it in an action plan, because while things do feel urgent, there is time. There is time to get all of the systems in place. There's time to, accomplish what you want to accomplish in your business. And sometimes you just need another business brain to help you see the forest through the trees. So thank you for watching. I'm Rochelle Poulton, resident business strategist with KLM Project Management and Marketing. And you can find us and learn more about us online at duplicatemyself.com. Bye.